Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Nama Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Satarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratise Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha kalpa taruvesha kripa sindhuvya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalam Pangum langhayate girim Yat kripa tamaham bande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Shri Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Mishwaram. Hare Krishna. Yes. So we were discussing about Dhruva Maharaj, if I remember properly. Yes. Anyone would like to speak what we discussed last class?
Yes.
Yes.
I think last class we are discussing actually Dhuva's mother advising him how to take shelter of God. Simple service, nothing but accepting God as our single shelter.
Yeah, so we were, first point we were discussing last class that Dhruva Maharaj's mother Suniti told Dhruva Maharaj that Krishna is our only shelter. Okay, some things we didn't discuss. Let us little bit discuss on this point. Let's do a little bit of brainstorming, all devotees. We have so many shelters. We have our husband, we have our wife, we love our husbands, we love our wives. At least we are supposed to love. And we have our father, we have our mother, we have our so many people. So why Krishna is our shelter? They are also our shelter, right? Why Krishna is our only shelter? They are also our shelter. Yes? They are not shelter? Yes, Selja Mataji wants to speak something.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Prabhuji, these are temporary shelters.
Okay.
But permanent shelter is Krishna as we are Atma.
Okay, so these are temporary shelters and permanent shelter is Krishna. But okay, okay, let's hear from Nidhi Mataji.
Prabhuji, I was also telling the same thing.
Okay, so these are all temporary shelters and the permanent shelter is Krishna. Anyone else? Okay, Mona Lisa Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat.
Dandavat, yeah.
So temporary and they can do things materially, but Krishna is the absolute controller. So and sometimes I feel it's Krishna's mercy only means that comes through them. Because he is the ultimate absolute controller of everything. So even if we think that my father is the shelter, my husband is the shelter, actually it's the supreme controller whose mercy is coming through them only.
Okay, so Mona Lisa Mataji is speaking a very nice point that even if we can, first of all, these personalities who are in our lives, our father, mother, husband, wife, children, even if these people are there in our personalities, they are temporary shelters. And they have also certain limitations, like Suniti. She had limitations, correct? Of giving shelter to Dhruva, and she is also temporary shelter. But Mona Lisa Mataji is telling a very nice point that even if they have the temporary shelter, even if they have the limitations of their shelter, we have to understand that their capacity to give shelter is only given by Krishna. So long Krishna sanctions them, they give shelter, and then when the things are not sanctioned, then immediately their shelter is gone, right? Like when I was born, I and my mother both have the capacity for me to receive shelter from my mother, and my mother giving me some shelter. Both were ordained by Supreme Lord for a certain period of time. My mother passed away very early when I was just 25 and my mother was 50. So my mother passed away. So that is the limitation. So how much ever Krishna or Daiva providence has limited, that much only shelter we can get from them. Yes. Okay, Sunita Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Babuji,
Yeah, Dandava.
we should take shelter of Krishna because we are part and parcel of Krishna. Our soul is a part and parcel of the super soul, which is Krishna. So our relationship with Krishna is the true relationship. This spiritual world and other and the material world.
Yeah, so this is also a very nice point that we have to understand that our relationship with Krishna is true relationship, and whenever there is a real relationship, you feel more shelter, right? Whenever there is an artificial relationship, you don't feel shelter. Like for example, I'll give an example what Sunita Mataji is telling. Sometimes we go to Spencer or Big Bazaar or some outlets, something, and then there are people sitting. Hello, ma'am. How do you do? And then they will speak so nicely to you. They will receive so nicely to you, and then they will tell you what you want, ma'am. And then the ma'am will, the other ma'am will take you there, and all those things they will do so nicely. They will speak, and sometimes while you are talking and interacting with them, you may wonder how nice it would have been if my wife would speak with me like this. Huh? This lady speaks so nicely. But no matter how much ever the husband or boy thinks that so nice it would be Krishna, that my wife speaks to me like this madam in the shopping mall, but definitely the husband would feel no shelter to that lady, but the husband will feel shelter from his wife. Why? Though the wife would be speaking very harsh word, you came late, you didn't bring this, you didn't bring that, you always forget like this. And this lady in the shopping mall maybe, hello sir, how are you? I'm so happy to receive you again in the shopping mall. What do you want? Yes. Why the husband would feel because the husband has striked out a relationship with this person, and the husband knows that the relationship with this lady is based on simply business, correct? So we have to understand that material world is the business for the conditioned soul. The soul has come to material world to do business. What business? If you remember the Bhagavad Gita 13th chapter, anyone remembers? Bhagavad Gita 13th chapter, Kshetra Kshetrajna Yor. What is the business that the living entity has come to material world to do? Bhagavad Gita 13th chapter. Yeah, anyone? No one?
To enjoy.
to enjoy separately than the Lord. So the living entity comes from the spiritual world to the material world to enjoy separately than the Lord. And then the living entity, in order to enjoy, strikes out different relationships in this world. We have to understand the relationships of this world, our mother, father, wife, children. All these relationships are given to the living entity so that he can enjoy in this world. But we can also utilize this relationship in order to create a good fortune in the lives of our relatives. And that's what exactly Suniti did. Suniti knew that I am just a temporary shelter. I am not a permanent shelter. And my responsibility is to connect to the permanent shelter. So this should be our duty as being someone's father, mother, husband, wife. And this is one thing that was taught. We will take this verse later on when we will take the section of Rishabhdev Maharaj. But I will just open the verse so that Hare Krishna, please switch mute. There is some sound. So Maharaj Rishabhdev is giving his teachings to his sons, elder of which is the Bharat Maharaj, his famous Bharat Maharaj. So this is a very nice famous sloka. Yeah. So we'll recite this verse. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Yeah, so for all of your information, this verse is 5th canto, 5th chapter, text 18, 5, 5, 18. Okay. Guru na sasyat, swajano na sasyat.
Guru na sasyat, swajano na sasyat.
Pita na sasyat, janani na sasyat.
Pita na sasyat, janani na sasyat.
Daivam na tatsyat, na patischa sasyat.
Daivam na tatsyat, na patischa sasyat.
Namo chayadyat samupeta mrityum.
Namo chayetya samupeta mrityum.
Guru na sasyat, swajano na sasyat.
Guru na sasyat, swajano na sasyat.
Pita na sasyat, janani na sasyat.
Pita na sasyat, janani na sasyat.
Daivam na tatsyat, na patischa sasyat.
Devam na tasyat, na patischa sasyat.
Namo chayatya samupeta mrityum.
Namo chayatya samupeta mrityum.
Translation. One who cannot deliver his dependents from the path of repeated birth and death should never become a spiritual master, a father, a husband, a mother, or a worshipable demigod. So these relationships as guru or someone's father, pita, janani, mother, or daivam, pati and patni and children, or whatever it is, if in this relationship we cannot help the other person to evoke the actual true relationship which Sunita Mataji was telling, then this temporary relationship is useless. It's not that this relationship that we have as someone's husband, someone's father, someone's mother, someone's wife, someone's children is useless. Bhagavatam is not telling that. Bhagavatam is not telling that, oh, these are all useless. This is temporary, but even temporary things are also special if these temporary things can evoke the permanent relationship with Krishna. So the material world, the material life is meant to evoke our spiritual consciousness. And Upanishad gives an example of a wood. Just like fire, you see the fire will burn the wood, but the fire requires the wood, and the fire would use the wood to burn the wood. Okay, I think it is little philosophical. Let me explain again. If the wood is not there, can the fire be there? But it's the same fire which has come from the wood burns the wood. Yes, you are able to understand? Okay, let's say paper or anything. If a paper or a wood or anything is not there, you cannot light a fire, right? You require something to light a fire. But that thing which you require to light a fire, the fire burns it up and completely reduces its existence, correct? The fire is born from the wood, but the fire becomes the death of the wood. Everyone is able to understand this philosophy? Upanishads say, one of the Upanishads, I don't remember which Upanishad says this. The fire is born from the wood, and the fire devastates or completely reduces the existence of the wood. So exactly in the same way, the Upanishad says that the human body is like the wood and bhakti is like fire. Or any other relationships that we have is like the wood. Let's say, for example, husband and wife, it's like the wood. And bhakti is like fire. So if we put bhakti in this relationship as husband and wife, or mother and father, or son, daughter, father, brother, sisters, whatever, then that fire, that relationship, the material thing, actually can help us to practice bhakti, and later on bhakti will help us or help you to completely extinguish that material relationships or with this relationship with the material world. So we all have come together in some material relationship, but if we practice devotional service nicely together, if we help each other in practicing devotional service, just like Suniti Devi is helping Dhruva Maharaj in practicing devotional service. Suniti Devi is not giving false promises to Dhruva Maharaj. Oh, don't worry, I will file a case. We will all together file a case against your father. We will inform our my father, or we will take his case. We will inform his spiritual master. We will inform Swayambhuva Manu. We will inform Brahma. Suniti Devi is not telling that. Suniti Devi is telling that you take shelter of Krishna, and by taking shelter of Krishna, you will be blessed with everything else. Yeah. So this, whatever relationships we have got in this world, these relationships, we can actually transform these relationships and spiritualize these relationships. Anyway, these relationships are temporary, but if you spiritualize these relationships, we can actually transcend from this world. We can go back to Godhead. We can help others who are there to go back to Godhead. That should be our responsibility in any relationship. That is a responsibility. And here Bhagavatam, as this verse says, Guru na sasyat, janani na sasyat. One should not become a mother and father. One should not become a husband and wife if one is not taking responsibility of delivering one's son or daughter or wife or husband like that. So it's that serious. We have to understand that a relationship is a responsibility. And Bhagavatam says this is the prime responsibility in a relationship. Okay. So once Suniti Maharani tells all these things, then Dhruva Maharaj just leaves for the forest. So we will take a verse now. Okay. Where is the verse? This is the verse. This is the verse. So Maitreya is telling to Vidura now again. Just 1 minute. Maitreya Vacha. Please repeat. Hare Krishna.
Maitreya Vacha.
Evam sanjalpitam mato.
Evam sanjalpitam matur.
Akarnyarthagamam vachaha.
Akarnya arthagamam vachaha.
Sanyamyatmatmanam.
Sanniyami atmanam.
Sanyatmanam.
Sanniyami atmanam.
Nischakrama pituh purat.
Nischakrama pitu purat.
Maitreya Vacha.
Maitreya Vacha.
Evam sanjalpitam matur.
Evam sanjalpitam matur.
Akarnyarthagamam vachaha.
Akarnyarthagamam vachaha.
Sanniyamyatmanam.
Sanniyamyatmanatmanam.
Nischakrama pituh purat.
Nishchakrama pituh purat.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. The great sage Maitreya continued, the instruction of Dhruva Maharaj's mother Suniti was actually meant for fulfilling his desired objective. Therefore, after deliberate consideration and with intelligence and fixed determination, he left his father's house. Purport. Both mother and son were lamenting Dhruva Maharaj's having been insulted by his stepmother and his father's not having taken any step on this issue. So both mother and son were lamenting. But mere lamentation is useless. One should find out the means to mitigate one's lamentation. Thus, both mother and son decided to take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord because that is the only solution to all material problems. It is indicated in this connection that Dhruva Maharaj left his father's capital city to go to a secluded place to search out the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So both were lamenting, but both understood that there is no point in lamenting, better we take shelter of the Supreme Lord. And how to take shelter of the Supreme Lord? He left to a secluded place. It is the instruction of Prahlad Maharaj also that if one is seeking peace of mind, he should free himself from all contamination of family life and take shelter of Supreme Godhead by going to the forest. To the Gaudiya Vaishnava, this forest is the forest of Brinda or Brindavan. If one takes shelter of Brindavan, under Brindavaneshwari, Srimati Radharani, certainly all problems of his life are solved very easily. So I repeat, if one takes shelter of Brindavan, under Brindavaneshwari, Srimati Radharani, certainly all the problems of his life are solved very easily. Hare Krishna. So that's why we are going Vrindavan. Yeah. So Srila Prabhupada is telling here that we have to take the shelter of Vrindavan Dham and go to Vrindavan to find out the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, we have gone, many of you would have gone Vrindavan so many times. How many of you have found out the Supreme Lord? Yes. How many of you have gone Vrindavan? Please raise hands. Okay, let me take a... Some devotees are not having their video on. Please switch on your videos. Please keep your videos switched on. Okay, Pavan Krishna Prabhu has gone Vrindavan. Selja Mataji has gone Vrindavan. Okay, Madhur Kohli Prabhu has gone Vrindavan. Sumit Prabhu, you have gone Vrindavan? Sumit Prabhu has not gone Vrindavan. Raghunath Puri Prabhu has gone. Sabyasachi Prabhu has gone. Poonam Mataji has gone. And Tarun Prabhu has gone. Yes, has gone. Raj Prabhu has gone. Okay, Udit Prabhu has gone. Kushal Vihari Prabhu has gone. What all of you are doing here? You are still here in material world. You have gone Vrindavan. Madhur Kohli Prabhu, you have gone Vrindavan. Madhur Kohli Prabhu, you have gone to Vrindavan. What you are doing in Utsa? Arijit Prabhu has come, gone. Bihari Govind Prabhu has gone. All of you have gone to Vrindavan. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to tell that we should go to Vrindavan without a return ticket. How many of you have booked your yatra return tickets? Then you are not going to Vrindavan. According to Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, because you booked the return ticket, that is why I think return ticket came back. But we have to understand that so many of us have gone to Vrindavan, but why we could not find Krishna? How many of you saw Krishna? Selja Mataji said that she saw Krishna in Vrindavan. We didn't find Krishna. Yeah. So how do we, so Dhruva Maharaj's attempt to go to Vrindavan or searching for Vrindavan is exactly same as Sri Nitai Das or Madhur Kohli or any person who raised hand today going to Vrindavan to find Krishna. There is going to be no success in the life. Just like we have gone to Vrindavan and have come back, exactly in the same way, we forget about going to Vrindavan. I will tell you, I am from Puri, which is also a dham, non-different than Vrindavan. There is no difference between Sri Jagannath Puri, Sri Mayapur Dham and Vrindavan Dham. The dhams are all eternal residents, and Puri is a very intimate place. Puri contains all the dhams. The part of the temple, Jagannath temple area is considered as Dwarka. The part of Gundicha temple area, that is called Vrindavan. And then there is a place of Mayapur, Avadharya Dham, the Gambhira and all those places. So our acharyas have explained that Jagannath Puri contains all the dhams. It's a very, very secret and intimate place. And I am from Puri, but I didn't find Krishna. Okay, I was very attached to Jagannath. I was very now also I am attached. I was attached to Prasadam of Jagannath. And but to find Krishna is not just getting attached. To find Krishna is actually dedicating one's entire life for his pleasure. So we all have gone to Sri Vrindavan Dham. We all have gone to dhams. but we could not find Krishna. We could not find to dedicate our life for the service of Krishna. So what is the guarantee that Dhruva Maharaj will get Krishna just by leaving home? Sometimes there is some vairagya generated in the heart of a person because of some quarrel in the family. Yes, husband and wife fight and the husband said, गलती कर दिया तुमसे शादी करके, जा रहा हूं मैं, रहो इधर. And then the wife in the mind, she is thinking, अभी बस भगवान की शरणागति करना. And she goes. Can the lady do भगवान की शरणागति? Huh? Can the husband who is frustrated with the wife can do भगवान की शरणागति? What Bhagwan ki Saranagati will do? He will do Saranagati in some movie halls, he will do Saranagati in some shopping malls, and then again he or she will come back to the house. Right? Because until and unless we experience the shelter of Krishna, we cannot find Krishna in Sri Vrindavan Dham. It's not just about leaving the material shelter. If you just leave the material shelter, it's not that you will get Krishna. Vairagya will not create Krishna. Vairagya will not create bhakti in our heart. So we must understand that just by giving up the material things, sometimes some people are very attached to Vairagya. And then they will tell, like they will come to temple and then say, Swamiji, everything you have left and everything you have given up for Krishna's service and all those things, and so nice, we are feeling so nice, and all those things you have left for serving Krishna, and you're just sitting here and simply serving Krishna and everything. They will appreciate like anything in their first visit to temple. And in the second visit, they will find Swamiji with some mobile, some smartphone, some iPhone, and we will find Swamiji going to the airport and taking a flight. Say, I think this Swamiji is not that advanced. This Swamiji is not that advanced in consciousness. And then they will hear the Swamiji's spiritual master. This Swamiji Srila Prabhupada he travelled around the world 14 times, and what not he used? He used all the material facilities that was there in that time. Even the greatest materialist would not be using. One time, Srila Prabhupada's disciples, they rented one Rolls-Royce car so that they can take Srila Prabhupada from airport to the temple. And the reporter was shocked, because that time in the entire America, there were few Rolls-Royce cars who would be using that. And Srila Prabhupada was taken in a Rolls-Royce. And the reporter became very, very envious. Swamiji, is this the way they treat you everywhere? Prabhupada said, yes, why not? Every time they take you in Rolls-Royce. And Prabhupada said, what is this tin car? They should get a gold car for me. And they're getting a tin car for me? It's all useless. I am fit to get gold car because I am representing Krishna in their life. And the reporter got a culture shock. So we have got certain conceptions of Vairagya, and we equate someone's advancement in devotional service compared to what Vairagya he is exhibiting, which is external and material. We have to understand, just by Vairagya, one cannot get Krishna. Imagine I tell all of you that somehow, because of some frustration or because of some serious search for God, all of you left the family and developed lot of Vairagya. Can you get Krishna? We can never get Krishna. Detachment can never give us Krishna. We have to understand this. But detachment has the power to enhance our Krishna consciousness. But detachment cannot give us Krishna consciousness. We should never equate our Krishna consciousness with detachment. Now Dhruva Maharaj is detached from the family in search of God. It's not that he is detached for in search of some other successful ambition. He is detached from his family. He left his family, but that detachment cannot give him shelter of Sri Vrindavan Dham. So we have to understand, by some frustration in material life, we cannot get Krishna. It may give us some enhancement to get Krishna. It may give some inspiration to practice Krishna consciousness, some frustration, some relationship frustration, some frustration in finances, some frustration in the family. That can give us an impetus. Impetus, you understand in Hindi? Uddipan. But it cannot give us Krishna. So Dhruva Maharaj, though he is leaving home, going to Vrindavan, like all of us have gone to Vrindavan, he is also going to land up in the same way, and he is again going to come back to Bithur. Dhruva Maharaj's palace was in Kanpur, near Kanpur. Bithur was a place where Dhruva Maharaj's palace was there. He is going to again come back. So what is the solution? Yes, what's the solution? We are detached, we want Krishna, but we cannot get Krishna. Okay, Bihari Govind Prabhu is raising hand.
One who has Krishna can give Krishna.
Okay, one who has Krishna can give Krishna. Okay. What else? Anyone else?
That is spiritual master.
Okay, that's spiritual master. Okay. Anyone else? Yeah, Sarjama.
Devotional service can help us to get Krishna, Prabhuji?
Okay, devotional service can help us to get Krishna, but we cannot perform devotional service. Because we all have gone to Vrindavan. Did we perform devotional service? Why we didn't perform? That's the question.
Prabhuji, we have to have the singular shelter in Krishna.
Okay, singular shelter in Krishna, but how we can have a singular shelter in Krishna? Okay, Sarja Mataji is raising hand.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, we have to attach to the person who is having that attachment to Krishna for just 1 hour a day. If we get the higher taste, we'll automatically detach from the lower taste.
Okay, so if we have to get attached to a person who is attached to Krishna, if we get a higher taste, we will give up the lower taste. Okay, anyone else? Yes, Nidhi Mataji and then Udit Prabhu.
We have to renunciate everything else.
Okay, we have to renunciate everything else. Okay, Dhruva Maharaj has already renounced.
That renunciation should not be like temporary. I mean, aaj chhod diya, kal le liya. They're not that nice.
Okay, so if the renunciation is permanent, can we get Krishna? There are so many renounced people in this world. Have they got Krishna?
Some are, some also no, but they are not renounced in the true way.
Okay, so what is the meaning of true renunciation then?
The way you are renounced.
Oh, the way I am renounced. So what is the... I am not renounced. I am using all the facilities what all of you are using. I am using AC, I am using laptop, I am using everything. So how I am renounced? I am not renounced. I don't consider myself renounced. I am practicing devotional service, but I don't have renunciation. Okay, yes, Udit Prabhu.
Prabhu, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita about sannyasa adhyatma. So it has to be spiritual detachment.
Okay.
So that's how we can get Krishna. Like our detachment should comes as a matter of purification, not as a mental conception कि ये मैंने कर दिया, so I am now detached, I leave everything.
Okay, so we should feel, we should get purified in our detachment. Okay, Kushal, we have it here.
Prabhuji, we have to endeavor, desire to achieve Krishna, and when Krishna will see our endeavor, then he will send some help for us.
Okay, so Krishna will send some help. What is that help Krishna sends?
Will send the help through some devotee.
Okay, so Krishna will send some help through some devotee. Okay, very good. Yes, Santanu Prabhu and then Sabyasachi Prabhu. Yeah.
So, I was reading in one purport, I forgot. There, Prabhupada says that if due to any reason, it may be due to some like vairagya you are telling, or inquisitive mentality to know about God. But whatever be the reason, that is one, it may generate in one's heart a desire. So if there are two steps, one has a sincere desire to know about the absolute truth, but alone with that he cannot get devotional service because he may go to wrong source. So if along with that the Paramatma shows some mercy on him to send him a right source to get all his inquisitiveness in a proper direction. So only by the mercy of the Lord one can get an opportunity to know him.
Okay.
Through the spiritual master.
So only through the spiritual master he may have desire, then he gets an opportunity to know him. Yes, Sabyasachi Prabhu. I got so many answers. So many people are.
In fact, points more or less it is covered. First thing is the desire. Then if I have the desire, then I have to spend time for Krishna. First thing is that is, or Acharya says that, yeah. Then hear from what Santanu was telling, from the right sources. For example, if I want to taste mango, then I should know the person who has tasted mango. Then only the person can tell me about the mango. Otherwise, it will be difficult to hear to other person who doesn't know the mango. So if we have the desire, then definitely there will be resources by Krishna, not directly, because the initial stage we have Misrita Bhaktas that we call it. So Krishna will send his representative to spiritual masters, or maybe pure devotees. Those will guide us to the right path to proceed further. But there is no arithmetic formula to get it. It's our endeavor, desire, then only we'll get it.
Okay, very good, nice. Yes, I think one more hand, Pavan Krishna Prabhu has raised hand.
So, one question.
Okay, question we will take definitely. First,
the comment. This point of small.
Okay, first we take the comment of Pavan Krishna Prabhu, then you will take the, or someone has raised. Yes. You have to speak loudly. Yes.
Prabhuji, like Dhruva Maharaj is also going to Vrindavan, and we are also going to Vrindavan. But maybe we don't have utsaha nishtaya there. We don't have that enthusiasm, determination, and patience. But Dhruva Maharaj had enthusiasm to practice, because when Narad Muni tells him some alternate solutions, that you are so young, better you go back to the palace, then he is not deterred. So he has enthusiasm and he has patience also.
Okay, so Dhruva Maharaj is going to Vrindavan not like us. He has enthusiasm, he has confidence, he has patience while living. That is why he got Krishna. Okay, yes, Santanu Prabhu has comment.
So it was from before only, for question.
Tell.
Means here everyone is telling that we should have desire, My question is, like, personally in my case and many cases, we don't have any desire to know about Krishna anything, but still we got opportunity for devotional service. So in which category that comes?
Okay, so people are telling that we should have desire, and we are not having desire only. So which category? And some devotees have written here, by seeking shelter of Guru will help us to seek shelter of Krishna. Bhaktya sanjayate bhakti. Only by mercy. And Dhruva Maharaj had complete faith on the Lord. So we will see what Maitreya Muni is telling and Sukadeva Goswami is telling. Okay, the next verse we'll take. Naradastad upakarnya Gyantva tasya chikirshitam Sprishtva murdhanyaghgnena Panina praha vishmita Naradastad upakarnya Gyantva tasya chikirshitam Sprishtva murdhanyaghgnena Panina praha vishmitaha. Okay. The great sage Narada overheard this news and understanding all the activities of Dhruva Maharaj, he was struck with wonder. He approached Dhruva and touching the boy's head with his all virtuous hand, he spoke as follows. Purport. When Dhruva Maharaj was talking with his mother Suniti of all the incidents that had taken place in the palace, Narada was not present. Right? The discussion between Dhruva and his mother, Narada was not present. That's what Srila Prabhupada is telling. Thus, the question may be raised, how Narada overheard all these topics? The answer is that Narada is Trikalagya. He is so powerful that he can understand the past, future and present of everyone's heart, just like the Super Soul, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, after understanding the strong determination of Dhruva Maharaj, Narada came to help him. It may be explained in this way. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is present in everyone's heart, and as soon as he understands that a living entity is serious about entering devotional service, he sends his representative. In this way, Narada was sent to Dhruva Maharaj. This is explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Beach. By the grace of the spiritual master and Krishna, one can enter into devotional service. Because of Dhruva Maharaj's determination, Krishna, the Super Soul, immediately sent his representative Narada to initiate him. So, Narada stad upakarnya. Narada heard it. Gyantva, he heard, he understood. Tasya chikirshitam, he came. Sprishtva murdhani, jaise he immediately, as soon as Narad Muni kept his hand on the head of Dhruva, immediately Dhruva Maharaj's good fortune got awakened. So we have to understand that our good fortune to get Krishna in our life. Fortune means what? What is meaning of fortune? You endeavor for something, you get it. You don't go through failures, right? That is meaning of fortune. He is a fortunate person. What is meaning of fortunate person? Whatever he endeavors, he gets success only. Correct? That is the definition of fortune. You endeavor for a business, you get the money back. You endeavor for something, you get it back. You don't go through failures. So similarly, we are also endeavoring for devotional service, for getting Krishna in life. So we will be fortunate only when the spiritual master's hand is always on our head. So we must understand that we may have desire, may not have desire to get Krishna. As Santanu Prabhu is telling, sometimes we may have desire like Dhruva, or sometimes we may not have desire like Dhruva to get Krishna. Or we may have desire to get Krishna so that we can fulfill our material desires. Whatever may be there, akama, sarva kamava, moksha kama udaradi. So we may have desire, We may not have desire, or we may have material desires. Whatever may be the case, if we are ready to direct our life in the along the instructions of the spiritual master, then we will definitely find Krishna at the end of our life. So that is a very important aspect in our pursuit to devotional service. And we have to understand that Krishna, being merciful with us, sends his representative in our life. And more we see the spiritual master as representative of Krishna, as not just some ordinary living entity. Yes, he is an ordinary living entity, but he is empowered by Krishna. And because he is empowered by Krishna, for us, that personality is behaving like Krishna, right? And for us, that personality is Krishna's messenger in our life. If we see that, the spiritual master is actually an ordinary person. But because being empowered by Krishna, he is no more an ordinary person. So Narada is also a Jivatma. We heard the story of Narad Muni, how he was the son of a maid servant. But now he is so empowered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead that he is representing Supreme Personality of Godhead. So if we have to go to Vrindavan Dham, take shelter of Vrindavan Dham, we have to first find shelter in some spiritual master. So Vrindavan Ashraya, Krishna Ashraya begins with Guru Ashraya. If we are not finding a shelter in someone who is Krishna's representative in our life, then our attempts to enter Shri Vrindavan Dham will always remain futile. We should find the shelter. Like yesterday, we were hearing, Kushal Bihari Prabhu had also come to temple. We were hearing class in temple by Srila Prabhupada, and it was such a nourishing class by Srila Prabhupada. It was so nourishing, right? Yes, Kushal Bihari Prabhu. So I was doing the discussions and all, and Prabhupada was explaining about how we are all disturbed so much that because we are all disconnected from Krishna, just like Arjuna is disturbed, and if we get connected with Krishna again, then we can again revive our relationship with Krishna and we can become pacified. And Prabhupada was explaining this point only throughout the lecture through different examples. But it was such a nourishing experience. Whole day I was remembering about what Srila Prabhupada was telling. This is meaning of finding shelter in the spiritual master. How do we find shelter in spiritual master? By finding shelter in Srila Prabhupada's books. If we are not finding shelter in Srila Prabhupada's books, we are not finding shelter in spiritual master. If we are not finding shelter in Srimad Bhagavatam, finding shelter in Sukadeva Goswami and Srila Prabhupada's teachings, as he is explaining to us the teachings of Sukadeva Goswami, we are not finding the shelter of Guru. And if we are not finding the shelter of Guru, we cannot, our attempts to Vrindavan Dham will always remain futile. So we cannot jump to Krishna. We have to take the help of Guru to get Krishna. So we cannot. We have to understand that we have to respect the spiritual master as the representative of Krishna. Sakshad Haritvena Samasta Sastre Uktas Tatha Bhavyata Eva Sadvi Kintu Prabhorya Priya Eva Tasya Bande Guru Shri Charanaravindam. Sakshad Hari. If the amount we respect the spiritual master as Hari, that amount we will be able to get the directions of Hari in our life. This is there. We have to, I have personally experienced that also in my life. And I am telling all of you also that if you really want to receive the direction of Hari, receive the shelter of Hari, you have to take shelter of the instructions of the spiritual master. It may be, you may not be able to understand, but only spiritual master can give us the right perspective and the right direction to receive Krishna in our life. And if we have that trust and faith, full confidence, that's what there is a verse, right? That Yasya deve para bhakti yatha deve tatha guru. Yasya deve para bhakti. One can get para bhakti. The bhakti is actually not of this world, of the spiritual world. Para means of the spiritual world. One can get that only when he has very strong faith on the words of the spiritual master. We will see ahead that Narad Muni had such faith on, Dhruva Maharaj had such faith on Narad Muni, whatever Narad Muni said, Dhruva Maharaj followed. And because of his determination to follow the direction of the spiritual master. See, we can be determined in so many ways. We can be determined in whatever we think is best for our Krishna consciousness. Like I have seen so many people. They are very determined to practice Krishna consciousness, but they're in their own way. मेरे को जो ठीक लगे भक्ति में वही मैं करूंगा. And they will do very nicely. Very, very determined. I will do my devotional service in my own way and being very, very determined. But that will not give us Krishna. That will not give us Krishna. The supreme Shastra, the supreme book to teach us how to get Krishna in our life is Srimad Bhagavatam. Nowhere any story in Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna has come to someone's life without the mercy of Guru. You tell me any case study. Prahlad Maharaj, Narad Muni was there. Dhruva Maharaj, Narad Muni was there. Anyone who has got Krishna has got it through the audience of the spiritual master. So we have to understand that our attempts to get Krishna in life will always remain futile if we do not have strong faith on the words of the spiritual master. If we do not understand that the spiritual master is representing Krishna in our life, if we do not respect the spiritual master as a representative of Krishna. So that's what we see here. Srila Prabhupada is telling, Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasadat. By the mercy of spiritual master only one can get Krishna. Yasya aprasadat nagati kutopi. Without the mercy one cannot get. So I remember from my personal life, I was born in Puri, I saw Jagannath, but I was not knowing who is this Jagannath. I was knowing that Jagannath is Vishnu. But only my spiritual master, only when I came to Krishna consciousness, got in touch with my spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada and Acharyas, understood that Jagannath is Krishna's form in separation from Srimati Radharani. Can you imagine? Jagannath is Krishna experiencing Vipralamba from Radharani. No one knew. You go to Puri, ask anyone, no one knows. And I was not knowing that Sundarachal, Gundicha is Vrindavan Dham. Oh, everything is Puri. I was knowing Puri is Dham, a very, very special place. I was knowing that Prasadam is very special. But how it is special and how to get the mercy, the access to that special thing, that is only revealed to me by my spiritual master. And that is why Janme Janme Prabhu say. One should understand that the spiritual master is our Janme Janme Prabhu. He is master for next eternity because he revealed Krishna to us. We didn't had any desire, and that is why it's not that okay, the relationship with the spiritual master is for 1 day, 2 day, 1 year, and once we get Krishna, tata spiritual master. We have seen so many people, once they get Krishna, okay, now why require Guru? Guru gave Krishna, finished, everything is over. But the scripture says, Janme Janme Prabhu say. Our entire Krishna consciousness will be testified through our spiritual master. He will be the invigilator for our way back to Godhead. And he will, the spiritual master in the beginning becomes the invigilator, director, and in the spiritual world, the spiritual master helps the living entity to serve Krishna very nicely. We have to understand the relationship with the spiritual master is eternal, and more we develop this understanding and develop faith in this understanding. More and more we develop this faith, more and more we will get Krishna in our life. So Narad Muni is coming, and we have to understand how much Narad Muni is very special soul. So next class, today's class we'll keep this much because it's already 7:30. I want to take some question answers. So next class we are going to discuss in how special is Narad Muni, and we see how much Narad Muni is connected with Krishna. Yes, that, so how we can find that connect with Krishna, and how we can get the same mercy that Narad Muni is getting in relation with Krishna. So this will be the topic for next class we will be discussing. But we see here a very important thing. Today's topic, what we discussed, is that Krishna's shelter comes in our life through Guru's shelter. We have to have that faith on the spiritual master, and that faith will give us Krishna. Okay, so Dhruva Maharaj is so fortunate that he got Narad Muni, or Krishna actually sent Narad Muni. As soon as Krishna sees a sincere desire in the heart of a person, he sends a spiritual master. He represented his representative in our life, and then that representative helps us to get Krishna in our life. So that faith we must have. Yeah. Anyone has any question? Yes, Sunita Mataji will answer.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, Dhruva Maharaj he has renounced for his desires for material, but still Krishna showed his mercy on him. So how is his bhakti different from our bhakti? That Krishna was so merciful to him and is not showing his mercy on us.
Okay, so Krishna, how is Dhruva Maharaj's detachment was so material, his desires were so material, and Krishna is showing mercy to Dhruva Maharaj and is not showing mercy to us. So Krishna's mercy is he sends spiritual master. So definitely Dhruva Maharaj's desires were material, but he somehow became determined to follow Narad Muni. So what we are missing is that part. So the story of Dhruva Maharaj given in Srimad Bhagavatam is not to explain that oh, you got material desire. It's to explain whatever you have got, be determined to follow the spiritual master. That is what is missing in our life. You are able to understand? So what is missing in our life? We may have not got that much big material desire like Dhruva Maharaj. We may be more pure than Dhruva Maharaj. But our determination is very less to follow the spiritual master. But Dhruva had so much of material desires, but his determination somehow to follow Narad Muni was very, very intense. And that is why he got success. So it's not about how much, like for example, I'll give an example, you will be able to understand. you and one more Mataji were coming to Gosala for Mala Seva and for doing making garlands, and both of you were coming, and then somehow or other one Mataji slipped and fell down and completely got in kichad. And while picking her up, you also fell down and you also got some kichad, right? Then both of them came to Gosala and find out where to, wash our legs, hands and everything. It has become kichad, right? So this Mataji who fell down completely was very determined to go to the washroom and clean herself. But somehow when you picked up, you are not determined. You are less you are having less mud than that Mataji. But after 1 hour, who will be looking more fresh? You or that Mataji?
That Mataji.
Why?
Because she's cleaning herself.
She is cleaning herself and you are not cleaning. So Dhruva Maharaj may have more kichad and we may not have more mud, that much mud like Dhruva Maharaj, but Dhruva Maharaj became very, very determined for the cleaning process. And we are not determined for the cleaning process, though we have less mud. And that is why the lesson from Dhruva Maharaj's story that Srimad Bhagavatam is giving is Dhruva, determination. Determination for the cleansing process. And the first step of cleansing process is to be determined that the spiritual master is my representative, is Krishna's representative in my life. So that is the thing. We may be having less contamination, but that doesn't mean that we'll get Krishna faster. One person may be very, very, like some of Srila Prabhupada's disciples, they were very sinful. I don't think I have done so much of sins like they have done in their life. But they got Krishna so nicely, they are so surrendered, and I don't think I am that much surrendered to Krishna. Why? Because my determination is futile maybe. Right? It's not that how much you are contaminated, it's how much you are determined to follow the process. So we have to understand that even if we are less contaminated than Dhruva, we are not getting Krishna's mercy because our determination is less. We have to become more determined to get Krishna, more determined to respect the spiritual master, follow the instructions of spiritual master. You are understanding? Yeah, Hare Krishna. Yes. Who raised hand first? I think Selja Mataji, then Sabyasachi Prabhu, then Nidhi Mataji, then Puna Mataji. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I have 2 questions.
One question you can ask officially, and then
it is very small.
Okay.
Shivji, who is the Guru of Shivji, Prabhuji?
Who is Guru of Shivji? Why you want Shivji's Guru?
Because he is Param Vaishnav. I thought.
Okay.
Well, Shivji is also a form of Krishna, that I know. But since he is a Param Vaishnav, so I thought somebody is Guru also.
Shivji's Guru is Sankarshan himself. So Lord Shiva, his Gurudev is Sankarshan. Balramji's expansion Sankarshan. Lord Shiva himself says in this Rudra Geetam that his spiritual master, or he has heard, and his worshipable deity. Sometimes Krishna may, like, who is Arjuna's spiritual master? Krishna only, direct. So Krishna is the Aradhya also, and Krishna is Guru also, correct? So similarly, Lord Shiva's Aradhya is Sankarshan, and Lord Shiva's Guru is also Sankarshan. So, and that is why Lord Shiva keeps a snake in his body to remember about his Guru, that is Ananta says. Lord Shiva hears from Ananta says. Like Lord Shiva is lying down, Sadasiv is lying down in the juncture of spiritual world and the material world, that is called Sadasiv. And in the juncture of spiritual world and the material world, there are innumerable universes, and the innumerable universes floating in the Karana Sagar, the universes are on the hoods of Ananta says. And Ananta says is speaking about Krishna constantly, and Lord Shiva is hearing about Krishna's stories, and that's why Lord Shiva keeps a snake to remind himself of his Aradhya, that is Sankarshan or Ananta says. So that is why in Chaitanya Leela also, Advaita Acharya is Shivaji and Nityanand Prabhu is Balram, Sankarshan. So they have a very special relationship. They would fight. They would, Advaita Acharya would say that to Lord Chaitanya would often come to Advaita Acharya's house for prasadam along with Nityanand Prabhu. And then Lord Advaita Acharya would say that I am fine in serving you, O my Lord, but who is this Avadut? I don't know what is his caste. He has, I don't know where he goes. He may contaminate with in my house. So don't bring this Nityananda next time when you come to my house. And then Nityanand Prabhu would become very angry on Advaita Acharya, telling, I am outcast and you are of very caste. The scripture says, Grihesu Kuto Dharmesu. The Grihasthas are all simply involved in politics. And a saintly person like me goes to the house of Grihastha just to purify him. And Advaita Acharya says, first you purify yourself and then you can purify me. And then Nityanand Prabhu says that I don't like your rice. What nonsense! This much prasadam, I will not fill half of my belly only. And he takes the rice and throws at Advaita Acharya. And that rice particle touches the body of Advaita Acharya, and Advaita Acharya started dancing madly. Oh, Nityananda, you have purified me today. You have purified me today. You have purified me today. And so like this. And then similarly in Jagannath Puri, one time Advaita Acharya and Nityanand Prabhu had come. So in Narendra Sarovar, they started playing water sport. And they were so mad. Nityanand Prabhu became like snake. Advaita Acharya was playing. And like this. So Shivji's Aradhya is Ananta says. And he hears about glories of Krishna from Ananta says. Okay. Okay.
I don't have a second question.
Don't ask. We will take the question on the queue. If you want to ask, if you don't want to ask.
No, Prabhuji, I'll go back to the classes and I'll hear again.
Okay, you hear again. Yes. Sabyasachi Prabhu, yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. In fact, regarding the spiritual master's relationship as well, the quote by His Holiness Sadhana Swami, where he said, in the Jaini book, there are too many gurus in this country, and they have told us what to think, what to do, what to practice. Unfortunately, some of them became dictators. Now, India is a country where some of, not majority, some of the gurus, they have been fallen into the material desire, and we've seen how they've been treated. And is it seeking the faith of a devotee that whom to trust first, or if it is happening, it is because of the devotee or of the gurus, so-called gurus. They think they are the only one who can deliver them, and by this mentality they make mistakes.
Okay. So first of all, we have to understand that we get cheated. Like you are giving Radhanath Swami's example. He didn't got cheated even if he met so many cheaters, to the extent that Radhanath Maharaj was there in Sri Vrindavan Dham in one person's ashram, and that person was a homosexual, and he started troubling Radhanath Maharaj in the night itself, and Maharaj has to run away. To the extent that Radhanath Maharaj went through so many places, and he went to so many places, and he met so many gurus and so many cheaters also, but he didn't got cheated because he didn't want to get cheated. So first of all, we have to understand that if we don't want to get cheated, there is no power in this entire creation who can cheat us. First of all, we have cheating propensities in our heart. We have to look into our heart. Like Maharaj, as because you quoted the example from the book, so Maharaj says in the book that I don't want to, actually, even though Maharaj sees so many people, but Maharaj takes good lessons from all of them. If you see the book, he goes to all the spiritual masters and he takes good lessons from all of them, but he doesn't surrender. And he only surrenders to Srila Prabhupada because he sees the spark of compassion in Srila Prabhupada. But why he doesn't surrender? He says in the book clearly that if I have to select someone, my spiritual master, then I have to give my entire life to him, and there is no question of anything else in my life. So we see that if we have the right desire within our heart of surrendering and finding Krishna, Krishna will never cheat us. Krishna will give us direction to the right represent. So first of all, we have to have the sincere desire, first thing. There may be so many cheaters in this world, and we may have get cheated, and the spiritual masters may have material desires. They may fall victim to material desires. They may become dictators and all those things. We do not have to worry, because if we have sincere desire to attain Krishna, then Krishna will send us the right person. But we have to focus on our heart. We cannot focus on spiritual master. We cannot take Krishna's anxiety on our head. This is Krishna's anxiety, right? To send the spiritual master in our life. Our anxiety is how determined I am to follow the spiritual master. If Krishna sends a person, we follow with determination. And if we do not have faith, you find out some another person whom we have faith. So like that, Krishna will direct us to some person. Ultimately, you have to put faith and surrender to that person. So our surrender will give us Krishna. We have to. We do not have to worry. So many spiritual masters are not having proper thing. Okay, they may not have proper thing, but so many people are getting right spiritual masters also. Personally, I didn't want to cheat anyone in my life. That is one thing I learned from my father, that I have to be very, very honest and man of integrity. And I saw so many people in Puri, so many gurus, so many mathas, and even in ISKCON also I had so many questions in the beginning. But I am not getting cheated. I am following my spiritual masters very nicely. So at least I can say my spiritual master, both Siksha Guru and Diksha Guru, they are following very nicely. So I am fine. So in this way, in ISKCON, we see that there are so many spiritual masters, and they are so much following the path with so much of honesty and integrity. We are having hundreds of spiritual masters. We can take shelter of any one of the spiritual master. But if you think, oh no, and these spiritual masters have gone through such scrutiny, like for so many years they are practicing, and in ISKCON we have such scrutinization of someone becoming a guru. So previously in ISKCON, maybe 20 years, 30 years before, anyone could have become guru. Right now the situation is hell and heaven difference. To become a guru, he has to go through such scrutiny, So in ISKCON also, if you cannot find a true guru, person who is connected to the parampara, then we have to understand, we have to search someone and we have to get. There may be wrong persons, but there are a lot of right persons. So we have to surrender to the right person, and there are right persons, lot of right persons. Personally, I saw in my life, there are 3-4 personalities who gave me a lot of inspiration. One is Radhe Shyam Prabhu, second is Bhakti Rasamrit Swami Maharaj, third is Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, Radhanath Maharaj, and then Radha Govind Swami Maharaj. And these personalities, I have seen them for so many years. I have seen them. There is no change in them. I'll tell you, Radhe Shyam Prabhu, how I saw in 2005, he is exactly the same. Yes, Kushal Bihari Prabhu? He is exactly the same. His speech is same. his principles are same, everything is same. Radhanath Maharaj, what I saw in 2005, he is not. So how we get faith on a guru? By seeing the consistency of a person. So similarly, we have so many personalities in ISKCON. We can take shelter, and there may be definitely cheaters. We do not worry. There may be cheaters, but we have understood that Srila Prabhupada has given us a nice shelter within the Society of Krishna Consciousness. So we take shelter of the Society of Krishna Consciousness, the Society of the Spiritual Masters in Krishna Consciousness. And even in ISKCON, some spiritual masters have definitely destroyed the faith of their disciples by going astray. But then the entire society is there. Srila Prabhupada's books are there. They have found shelter in Srila Prabhupada's books. They have taken shelter of another spiritual master within ISKCON, and they have continued their spiritual life. So there may be hundreds of people who are not good, but there are more thousands of people who are good. So we have to find the good person and take shelter of them. Why we have to be critical about those who are not good? That will always be there. This world is a material place, and material place means dvanda. Dvanda means good and bad will always be there. We cannot say that only when the entire gamut of the spectrum of spiritual master becomes good, then I will get some faith that yes, I have to surrender to spiritual master. No, there will be always good and bad. We have to take shelter of the good. Just like we cannot say when the entire currency notes, whatever is in the market, all the currency notes, there are only real notes, no fake note, then I will exchange the currency. That is not the right thing. We have to understand that there are fake, there are real. Take shelter of the real person. That will always be there in the society. We cannot take it out. We cannot take it out. This is something is a part and parcel of the material world, right? So, but at least I can see that how within Srila Prabhupada's shelter in ISKCON, we have so many great souls, and I feel personally so sheltered. Like when my health was going down, so I was thinking how to continue my services and everything, and so much of issues are there in health, and for the health I have to take so much of facilities which are not my equals in ashram were not taking those facilities, and I have so much of facilities. I am just a simple brahmachari. I am not a sannyasi also. So I was feeling very bad. So then I arranged a meeting with Bhakti Rasamrit Maharaj, and then I was talking, and Maharaj said it's okay, it's not a problem. And after I talked with Maharaj, I became so peaceful. So we have to, this is meaning of shelter. I was feeling very disturbed that I have to keep a cook. No brahmachari has a cook in ashram. I am the only brahmachari who has a cook. All brahmacharis take from the regular kitchen. I have a separate kitchen. I have a room with an AC, which no one in this entire brahmachari ashram has an AC. And I was feeling very disturbed that I have to take this so much of facilities just for basic survival only. Otherwise I don't get sleep only. My stomach is paining. So after I talked with and then I thought I need to talk. And we had a meeting with Bhakti Rasamrit Maharaj, and I'm so peaceful. So this is meaning of taking shelter of Guru. So we must understand this is how we should find shelter. Now I can chant Hare Krishna and everything, but even if we chant sometimes Hare Krishna, even if we go in front of Krishna, but we still are having a doubt. Like I was knowing that I am doing right thing. I got all the facilities, whatever. I was knowing that I am not doing the wrong thing, but still in the location of the heart, there is still a doubt. You have seen sometimes we do the right thing, but still we have a doubt that if we get some confirmation from someone, then we feel relaxed. So this is meaning of shelter. We cannot interact with Krishna, but we can interact with Guru. So we need to find shelter in Guru. If we have to practice and go ahead in Krishna consciousness safely, securely, we need to find shelter in the spiritual masters. And there are so many spiritual masters in ISKCON. And personally, last 18, 19 years, I am seeing them. They are so nicely practicing bhakti. They are fully surrendered to Srila Prabhupada and the Guru Parampara. Their practices are spotless and impeccably spotless. So, and we take shelter. And even in such a situation, we can't. We have to take shelter. And but there will be always wrong shelters. That will always be there. Why we have to worry, right? That is always there. Okay. I think I have elaborated. Yes. Poonam Mataji. Oh, so many hands are newly raised. Yeah. Hari Bol, Dandavad.
Prabhuji, like in Dhruva Maharaj's case, we saw that he had material desires. Then he got instructions from his mother. Mother being the first Guru. Then he found Narad Muni. So from met the Guru, then he got darshan of Krishna also. But like then after when he got through planet, what service he doing there? And what instruction Narad?
Oh, so when he got the Dhruva planet, he was the ruler of the Dhruva planet. It's Narad Muni used to continuously go there. Narad Muni is going to all the palaces, so he used to go to Dhruva Maharaj, and whatever questions he would have, Narad Muni would answer. Even forget about Dhruva Maharaj planet. Before Dhruva planet, he was ruling the kingdom of his father also for some time. So that time also Narad Muni used to visit. But those things are not mentioned. Only Bhagavatam explains those prominent portions of Dhruva Maharaj's life from where we can take lessons.
No, Prabhuji, like these kids, they ask me, like, when I tell them Dhruva Maharaj's story, then what happens in Dhruva planet? They are.
Oh, what happens in Dhruva planet? Dhruva planet is like spiritual world only, within the material world. There is constantly discussion about Krishna. There is constantly festivals. You can tell there is no assignments. There is no school going, and you do not have to write exams in Dhruvaloka. And because you are telling to kids, so you can tell like this: no exams, no assignments, no going to school. Then what the people will be doing? They'll all will be playing with Krishna. So this is Dhruvaloka. Dhruva Maharaj along with all others are playing with Krishna always. There is always a constant picnic. Every day is a picnic in Dhruvaloka. So in this way we can explain. And then they will be very interested. Oh, madam, udhar hi jana hai. I have to go to there only. Okay. Very well. Yes, Nidhi Mataji.
Prabhuji, sometime back while answering Sabyasachi Prabhu's question, you said about gurus like Radhanath Swami and all that. So are such gurus also a temporary shelter?
Okay, so this is a very nice question. Are the gurus are a temporary shelter? The form of the guru is definitely a temporary shelter, but the words of the spiritual master as permanent shelter. Like for example, if I consider Radhanath Swami or Jayapataka Swami or anyone, they have got this body. We are seeing them as our body, as a body. So then we are taking temporary shelter. But if we see them as soul and we pray to Krishna that I want to serve with him always, then Krishna will arrange that also, and wherever he goes, you also go, and whichever place he continues his service, you also go. Like Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj, his only desire was, oh Krishna, don't take me where you are, you take me where Srila Prabhupada is. I want to always be with Srila Prabhupada. So that means he is not seeing Srila Prabhupada as a temporary shelter, as the form that he is saying. In the next life, Srila Prabhupada may have a different body. He may not be a grihastha. He may be his guru. He may not be a grihastha. He may be his a sannyasi from childhood, and he may be his disciple. And in a different environment, he would be serving Srila Prabhupada. You are understanding? So the relationship is based on how we take to each other. If I just see Radhanath Swami, Jayapada Swami, or Bhakti Charu Swami, or Srila Prabhupada as a form, oh, he is Srila Prabhupada. No, that is the external body that the spiritual master has taken to interact with us. But the spiritual master is the spirit soul. If you want to develop relationship with the spirit soul, then I forget about spiritual master. Sometimes husband and wife become so attached that the material energy also arranges for them to become husband and wife in next life. Yes. If in material life it can happen, and the material energy can arrange like this. So similarly, if the disciple is attached to the spiritual master and wants to serve with the spiritual master, right? So then the person is sent where the spiritual master is serving with Krishna, and then at that point he engages in serving Krishna with the spiritual master, wherever the spiritual master is. If the spiritual master is a Manjaris, he will become assistant to the Manjari. So like that.
But Prabhuji, that is not the ultimate goal of getting a human form, no? We have to go back to Godhead.
Yeah, so we have, that is meaning of going back to Godhead. The going back to Godhead is not entering just Sri Vrindavan Dham. Going back to Godhead is fully realizing our Swarupa as servant of Krishna. If we can realize here only, so we have gone back to Godhead. While staying in this Calcutta, we have gone back to Godhead. Mukti hitva anyatha rupam swarupena vyavasthiti. Bhagavatam says, swarupena vyavasthiti. If we are swarupena vyavasthiti, then we are mukti. Srila Prabhupada was Mukta Purus because he never forgot that he is servant of Krishna and he did everything for serving Krishna. He is Mukta. Whether he is in Calcutta, whether he is in Vrindavan, whether he is in Golok Vrindavan or he is in this bomb of Vrindavan, he is Mukta. He is. So we have to understand that going back to Godhead is not that taking a flight and as we go, it's going back to Godhead is elevating our Chaitana. Rupa Goswami, he was there in this material world, but he used to attend all the festivals of spiritual world. How? So the spiritual world,
through Chaitana.
Through Chaitana only. Spiritual world we can attain through Chaitana only. Right?
I mean, we don't, it's a very silly question, but we don't have to die to...
no, we do not have to die. We do not have to die. Before death only you can get spiritual world. But you have to practice also like that, na? You do not have to die. Why you have to die? You can perfect before death also. But you have to practice like that also. You cannot just in dream, like yesterday night, I saw a very interesting dream. Generally, I say very few dreams, but I saw I am taking a class and then some two ladies were chit-chatting on the back. And there were a lot of people in the class and two ladies in the back were chit-chatting. I interrupted the class and I said, if you chit-chat and if you disturb the class, better you do it outside. I said, not very strongly, but I just said, if you want to chit-chat, you go out and chit-chat. And then again come back and sit because others are getting disturbed. And they got so disturbed, these two ladies, they left the class. And along with that, all the people left the class. And remained was Sri Nitai Das and Hari Prasad. And then I am saying to Hari Prasad that just see, this is the condition of Kali Yuga students. As soon as you little bit chastise them, you correct them, they will leave only. So let us continue our class. And I continued giving class, with no one, and Hari Prasad was only telling, and I continued reading. I was reading some Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam or something. I continued giving that class and continued did kirtan with no one, because all have left. And so I was telling to Hari Prasad that this is the condition of this material world. You little bit correct someone, he says the spiritual master's main business is to correct, and as soon as he corrects, he finds himself with no disciples only. Some disciples have gone. So then this is the unfortunate situation. I was telling like this, and then I said ki we should continue the class, because we are continuing, and I continued the class. So we have to understand that is the thing. Yes, so
Yes.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. Yes, Udit Prabhu, last.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes.
Prabhu, my question is surrender a gradual process to our spiritual master? Because we see in Dhruva Maharaj's life, he was 5-year-old, very innocent. So for him to follow strictly the instructions was maybe very easy. Like an elder is giving an instruction. But for us, conditioned soul like me, for example, like it takes time to build a trust and then follow the instructions of spiritual master and gradually improve the surrender. So are there any stages for the surrender? And how can I know, am I surrendering well enough to my spiritual master?
Yeah, so are there any stages of surrender and everything? Dhruva Maharaj was small, but we will read in the next sloka, in the next class. Dhruva Maharaj was not just a small boy. He was very, very matured than all of us. He had an ego which is much more than any of us. So his surrender, if we say that Dhruva Maharaj was just a 5-year-old boy, that's why he was able to surrender so nicely, that's not the fact. The fact is, our surrender is not based on our age. Our surrender is not based on whether we are a man or a woman. If a lady is there, then ladies are little sentimental to sadhus. Oh, surrender kar diya. And the men are more rational. So that is why, oh, I'm fortunate that I'm a lady, so that's why I'm able to surrender. So these are all material aspects. Sometimes it may help, but it is not the fact. The fact is that our surrender is based on our trust and faith on the spiritual master. It is not based on any material factors. This is one thing we have to understand, that I may be very, very intelligent materially, I may be grown up materially, but that will never prevent me from surrendering nicely to my spiritual master if I have trust and faith. Like for example, I'll give an example. Radhanath Maharaj has studied till 7th grade, and Gauranga Prabhu has done his IIT BTech, and and Maharaj may tell so many things which is completely intellectual circuit for completely different thing which you may not think, but because he has faith, that relationship is going for so many years, right? So we have to understand that the material factors do not either enhance or prohibit our relationship with Guru and Krishna. So first we have to understand that the material factors have nothing to give or take in a spiritual relationship. Sometimes it may support and enhance, but that is not the most important thing. So spiritual relationships can be enhanced through spiritual techniques. And spiritual technique is how much trust I have. Now trust is a very, very gradual thing, right? Trust is a gradual thing. So we have to trust, and that trust goes gradually. And as the trust goes gradually, our surrender also increases gradually. As we see that, yes, this is, and it's also cyclic, that more we surrender, more we get trust. Sometimes, that's what Krishna says, tad vidhi pranipatena. First you surrender, then you will get the trust. It's not that first you get trust, then you surrender. It doesn't work like that. You have to first surrender, put the leap of trust. Okay, I surrender. Imagine, we should think like this. I surrender and my trust is broken. ठीक hai, trust is broken, I'll surrender to some other person, right? So we have to understand that definitely we cannot surrender to anyone and everyone, but what I am telling is the trust has to be a factor, and all other material things is not a factor. That, oh, my age is more than my spiritual master's age, so that's why it is becoming difficult for me to surrender to this person. I should find out another person who is elder to me, I can surrender. I am from a Brahmana family and my spiritual master is from a Mlecha background from America, and that's why I'm not feeling like surrendering, right? I am a man, my spiritual master is, and I'm an Indian, I'm a spiritual master American, that's why I'm not feeling like surrendering. He is from a different culture, right? So these are material considerations. It doesn't work. Spiritual consideration is, okay, find out whom you have trust and surrender. And your trust is less, you surrender less, you grow your trust. How you grow your trust? By hearing, by serving. Trust grows by serving. Without serving, there is no question of trust. By serving, by interacting, by asking questions, we understand, oh, this person is has a completely different perspective in a situation that I look. He looks in a different way than I look, and he can help me to shape my perspective. So in that way, the steps is increase your surrender through service. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. So Krishna says surrender, then ask question, then service. And through service, our surrender increases. So you can take this cyclic formula that Krishna gives in Bhagavad Gita 4:34. Surrender, pranipat, pariprashnena, inquiry, and then service, sevaya. So when you do service, then your surrender will increase. And when your surrender increases, you will ask more inquiries, or you will reveal your heart more. Sometimes we don't reveal ourselves to our spiritual master. We keep a lot of things. So you will inquire and you will reveal more, then you will serve more, and that service will increase. So this SSI formula Krishna gives in 4.34 in Bhagavad Gita. Surrender, then you inquire, then you serve. And then with that service, as you serve the spiritual master, serve Krishna under the direction of spiritual master, you will see your surrender will increase. Without service, like I see, I'll give an example. I am remembering this example. When Srila Prabhupada wanted a land in Mayapur, there were many of his god brothers who were not ready to give land, who were doing a lot of politics and all those things, that we will not give land to ISKCON because if ISKCON becomes famous, no one will come to their temple. That was the point. And there was high tension in Mayapur, and somehow because of efforts of His Holiness Tamal Krishna Maharaj, we got a land, right? So when we got a land, then Srila Prabhupada came to Mayapur to see the land. But because there was high tension in Mayapur, Srila Prabhupada didn't got down in Nimai Janmasthan, that is Yoga Peeth, and also in Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's Chaitanya Math. He didn't get down because he was thinking, if I get down, a lot of people may come, and then maybe, because so much of high tension is there. So he just offered obeisance within his heart and came. And many people started criticizing, just see, this person came to Mayapur, he didn't even got down to take darshan of his spiritual master's samadhi and his spiritual master's temple. Just see, he has become so proud. And like that, so many people started spreading rumors about Prabhupada. And Prabhupada, so many disciples came and said, Prabhupada, they are speaking about you like these things. And Prabhupada said, let them speak whatever they want to speak. I would serve my I would put dandavat to my spiritual master through my service to him. So Prabhupada said like this to his disciples, that I would serve my spiritual master through my service. They may speak, they may put dandavat, but I will do what my spiritual master has told. And my dandavat and my respect to my spiritual master is in serving his instructions. So Krishna says SIS. You surrender. Let's say we have 5% of surrender. With the 5% of surrender, we inquire. And with the inquiry, we do some 5% of service, and then our surrender increases. Yeah. So through service, our surrender increases. Yeah, Sweta Mataji. Oh, I think it's all.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, मेरा जो question ये है related to the Prabhu only, कि how we feel that we are surrendering truly at your lotus feet, and how to feel that mercy. You know, we are not pure enough. We are not. We are very contaminated and unworthy. How to feel that shelter and that we are surrendering properly or not, or
so we do not have to feel, we do not have to involve our mind and feelings when we are dealing with spiritual master. Spiritual master, we have to surrender our head, our heart to Krishna. We have to involve our feelings and mind with Krishna only. He is the recipient of our feelings. Definitely, we should have feelings for the spiritual master. It's not that we are not having any feeling for the spiritual master. But first step is not feeling. The first step is not even feeling for Krishna. And forget about feeling for Guru. First step is surrendering our head, matha, sar under. There is one Sudama Prabhu of ISKCON Chowpatty. He speaks very nicely. Surrender matlab sar under. So sar ko under rakho. So we do not have to involve our feelings at all in the beginning while dealing with Krishna or Guru, anything. How we can feel attached and not feel attached. Forget about feeling anything. Just do as Srila Prabhupada is telling us to do. Just do as the Guru is telling us to do. That's it. So we involve our head. Sometimes our head may be convinced. Sometimes our head may not be convinced. Forget about your feeling. Like His Grace Jananivas Prabhu says a very nice thing. There are 3 things that are restricting us from going back to Godhead, from surrendering to Guru and Krishna fully. There is only 3 words. And Jananivas Prabhu says, I like it. So this is the only thing that is restricting us, our likes and dislikes, our mind. Oh, I like to do this, I don't like to do this, I can do this, I cannot do this. So we have to understand these are the 3 things that is restricting us to and preventing us from surrendering to spiritual master. So, so if we can keep our mind aside, keep our feelings aside, and surrender with our head very nicely to Guru and Krishna, this is the first step. That is why Pranipat, the definition of Pranipat Krishna is telling, is not, oh, inquiry, pariprashnena. Oh, spiritual master, tell me what I should do. Krishna is not telling, tad vidhi pranipatena bhavapurna sevaya. Krishna is telling bhavapurna sevaya. Krishna is telling pariprashnena. Pariprashnena means involvement of not mind, involvement of
asking.
Asking means you involve whom?
Intelligence.
Intelligence. Very good. That means Krishna is not telling involve mind. This is 4th chapter. Krishna is telling involve mind in later on. Dadami buddhi yogam tam priti purvakam. So mind is involved much later. So first we have to involve tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena. Oh spiritual master, I am completely confused in my life. You tell me what I have to do. And spiritual master says, you do this, but do this, finished. That is meaning of faith and trust. And oh, I like to do it. If you like to do it, very nice. If you don't like to do it, very nice, do it. So how to get attached to the lotus feet of Krishna and Guru? Very simple. Don't involve your mind. Keep your mind aside. And how we can not involve our mind? By making our intelligence very strong. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that Indriyani parani ahur mana, the senses is controlled by the mind is controlled by the intelligence. Through intelligence we can control our mind and senses. So that is why we have to surrender first our intelligence to Guru and Krishna. Pariprashnena, by asking questions. What questions? Relevant questions. How I can serve you? How I can serve Krishna? What is the best way I can serve Krishna? And then the spiritual master said, this is how you serve Krishna. We do it. That's it. That is meaning of service. And when that service happens, so we can do lot of services. We have, but if we do whimsical services on our own, what our mind thinks, then that will not increase our surrender. We have to do service based on what instructions we have got. Like I can do service in so many places, but my spiritual master instructed, do it in Calcutta. And it is such a tough place for my body. At least everyone has said to me that get out of Calcutta. Recently one devotee came and said, I think you should really talk now with other devotees, maybe Maharaj or Radhesham Prabhu, then get out of Calcutta. I said, I will not talk. I am not frustrated, so why I should talk? If they are getting frustrated, then they can talk, but I am not. I have been told to serve in Calcutta, I am serving. And whatever is required for the body anyway, right now, what I am experiencing at the age of 35, 36, someone will experience at the age of 50. So just 10 years before it has come, but one day it will come only, na? Huh? So that is why don't involve body, mind, senses so much. Just do, and whatever is required to serve the spiritual master, do. Like now I understood that if I have to serve in Calcutta, stay in Calcutta, follow the instructions of spiritual master, then I have to take some facilities because my body is like howling like a wolf now. Take it and serve. Don't involve so much of a mind. From childhood I have not slept in bed. Bed is something which I hate the most. I would love to sleep on the ground from childhood. And yesterday while this Prabhuji, Mahapavan Nitai Prabhu, he was trying to put bed sit to my bed, I was telling in the night that from childhood, this is one thing I hated the most, is the bed, to sleep on bed. And I was really, thinking that bed means sense gratification. So I would never use bed. And from childhood, I used to sleep on the ground. I love to sleep on the ground. But now if I sleep on the ground for next 1 month, I will not be able to do any service. So give up your hatred, take the bed, serve Krishna. That is the meaning. Similarly, AC is the thing I hate the most. The most thing I hate is AC because it's so horrible, so artificial. But if I don't take the AC, my stomach becomes so hot that I cannot do anything. So we will be put in a situation where, now I'll tell another likes. Food, out of all the food items, what I liked the most was milk items. Paneer, doodh, dahi, ghee. These are the things which I love the most. Sometimes I remember I would take sweet rice all the 3 times a day and nothing else. And along with that, I will take milk, I will take ghee, and I will take chena. Sometimes I will take chena and chini or rabdi as my dinner. That was my dinner. And now I cannot even look, forget about taking, I cannot even look at the milk items if I have to continue my service to my Guru and Krishna. So Krishna will put us in situations specifically to help us eradicate our likes and dislikes. So I am put, you will be put, this is the process. As a teacher, I am telling you, don't have glamorous expectations from Krishna. Krishna's test is, he will test your likes and dislikes. He will ensure that your likes, what you like, has to be sacrificed. If you like food, milk items, you have to sacrifice it to attain him. And Krishna will put you in such a situation, you have to sacrifice. And if you cry, I have to sacrifice, then you will not get Krishna. And Krishna will ensure that what you dislike, Krishna will put you in a situation. I always disliked talking with ladies. This is something which I had from childhood. I would, and especially if the lady cries. In my home, if my sister would cry, I would feel so irritated. That why you are crying, and these ladies keep on crying, you know, as if Ganga and Jamuna are there, and I would never, you know, if they are happy, smiling, fine. If they are crying, it very, very irritated to me. So I am put in a situation, I have to interact with ladies. So we have to understand that Krishna will put us, and these are some of the things. There are so many other things. I have made a list recently, ki how my likes have become dislikes and how my dislikes have been transformed into likes for me to continue serving Guru. Right? When 3 years before, things were getting very worse and I was not able to digest the normal prasad of ashram, then devotees started telling, you have to get a cook for yourself. And all devotees started telling here. I said, no, cook, you know, I'll feel very embarrassed. I want to remain humble and, you know, this. So I had a pride of humility that I am such a detached person. Just see, I do not have bed, I do not have this, I do not have any facility. So now if I have to continue, I have to take facility. So in this way, Krishna knows us very nicely, and Krishna will crush us very nicely. He will crush our likes and dislikes of the material world. If I have to go back to spiritual world, I have to crush my likes and dislikes. You have to put your leg on your likes and dislike, and then that leg when you put, the next step will be Krishna, Vrindavan Dham. And Krishna will put you in such situations, and if you qualify it, then you will attain Krishna. And if you complain about it, just see, all my friends are eating all milk items, and you become envious of them. अरे खाओ खाओ, कुछ दिनों के बाद मेरी तरह आप बन जाएंगे. So if you become envious of them, Krishna will say, इसको फिर आध्यात्मिक जगत लेके नहीं जा सकते. Right? Or you become overly proud, overly attached, or that just see, I am having so many facilities, just see this ordinary brahmachari sleeping in floor. He is not a special soul. Because I am a special soul, I have been given so many facilities. You become proud of it, then also Krishna will disqualify. But basic taste of going to spiritual world is crushing our likes and dislikes. All of you will see that. All of you will see that. If you sit down today and make a list, you will see how Krishna is trying to put me in a situation where my likes have become dislikes and dislikes are becoming likes, so that I can continue serving Krishna. So this.
Prabhu, one more thing, Prabhu. The situation makes you feel envious or makes you feel proud, right? आपने बोला दोनों situation आते हैं. Then how to convince oneself कि we should not be, क्योंकि आते हैं प्रभु. We are in the world where contaminations are there and we are also contaminated. The feelings come of being envy or being proud. What to do in that situations?
Yeah, so
But
the
I'm
feelings
really,
will.
one thing I'm doing,
So,
I'm just bowed, mentally I'm
so the
bowed down
feelings
to
of
lotus feet
envy.
and Krishna, but it is coming.
So the feelings of envy will come. That may be there. Like I may feel envious. Let it there. Let that feeling come. That's why I'm telling. Keep your mind aside. Become a friend of your intelligence first. So until unless we have made friends with our intelligence and kept our mind aside, because our mind is contaminated. So recently, this one of our devotee, Maharaj Prabhu, was giving an example. He had seen some movie. I had never seen that movie. I never knew. First time I heard. He said that I saw a movie before coming to Krishna consciousness, and he was giving an analogy, very nice analogy he gave. He said there was a movie called Satya Pe Satta. How many of you have seen that movie? First time I heard in the class itself. Okay. So in that, he was giving a nice example that I liked the example that in that movie there is Amitabh Bachchan, who is the eldest brother, and then there are 6 more brothers or 5 more brothers or like that, and then there is a villain which is not visible, and what he does, he creates a dummy Amitabh Bachchan or like that, and he introduces it and he kidnaps the real Amitabh Bachchan, and through the dummy Amitabh Bachchan whom he manipulates the entire family. It is just like, you know, you take Bihari Govind Prabhu and put another clone of Bihari Govind Prabhu, and you manipulate Syama Priya and manipulate his account details and everything through the dummy Bihari Govind Prabhu. So like that movie is, I don't know the movie, that's what he said. I've never seen the movie. So then he was giving a nice example. He said, so the mind, so the senses and the intelligence. So the 5 senses and the intelligence. There were 6 brothers, and the elder brother was the Amitabh Bachchan. So he was telling that the elder brother is like the mind, and then there are 5 senses and then the intelligence. So the mind is actually always the villain is the false ego who wants to enjoy. So the mind is manipulated through the false ego and the material energy. And what the mind does is it will control the intelligence and control the senses. My feelings, I don't like this. Why Krishna is telling me to do this? Why Guru is telling me to do this? I don't like it. So mind will control the intelligence. But in that movie, I think one of the brother is intelligent. Last youngest brother was very intelligent, who was able to detect कि गड़बड़ कर रहा है. That is actually also the intelligence. So intelligence is little intelligent. Though intelligence and senses both are controlled by mind, but intelligent is intelligent, little intelligent. He is able to see, I am getting controlled by this mind, Baba. Just like you are able to tell now, what can be done, Prabhuji? We really become envious. So that means your intelligence is working little bit. You are able to understand. And then he was telling that, so the best way is to give the intelligence to Guru. Then the intelligence will become more intelligent. And then he will take charge of the mind. So mind is required. But the real mind is required, because for serving Krishna without mind, it is very difficult. We will become like Mayavadi, impersonalist. But problem is mind has become contaminated. So long the mind is contaminated, intelligence becomes the prominent feature in one's practice in devotional service. Please remember this. It will help all of you in your devotional service. Sadhana bhakti means intelligence is the prominent factor in our practice of devotional service. Bhava bhakti means mind becomes prominent factor in our practice of devotional service. So this is the difference between Vaidhi bhakti and Bhava bhakti, as Rupa Goswami says, that in the beginning of our Vaidhi bhakti, we have to make intelligence very strong. And then the intelligence goes to a back seat when we develop Bhava for Krishna. Then we do not require intelligence. Rather, we require intelligence, but mind takes the higher seat when the mind becomes purified. Like, for example, the gopis would think about Krishna, and the gopis would chastise Krishna. How can, if you are intelligent, can you chastise Krishna? So they are overpowered by their sentiments to Krishna, and that is how they serve Krishna. So that is Bhava Bhakti. So right now we are doing Vaidhi Bhakti. We have to focus on our intelligence very, very nicely. We have to nourish our intelligence with the instructions of the spiritual master. Okay? Is that clear? Hare Krishna.